channel. My name's Angela and this is Devon Thread Tales. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my plans for the Sew Frugal 22 challenge. So just in case you haven't heard what this challenge is, it's actually a challenge that's been set up by two lovely ladies, Sam from Frugalisama and Ruan from the Yorkshire Sew Girl. They set this up for the first time last year and it was called Sew Frugal Frocks last year, and it was where you had to get a free dress pattern, use a piece of fabric from your stash, sew it in a particular month and then reveal it, and then you were in with a chance of winning a prize. And it was so successful last year that they decided that they wanted to do it again this year, but instead of it just being frocks or dresses, they opened it up to being garments. So it has to be a garment. It can't be a garment for a pet, or it can't be an accessory like a bag or something like that, although I did find lots of lovely free bag patterns which I was really tempted by. So it is any garment. It can be for yourself or a partner or a friend or a family member. It doesn't have to be for you. And there are a few rules with it, and I'm going to have to refer to my piece of paper so that I don't get confused. So the rules are, it has to be a free pattern. So that's not a pattern that you've got free with a magazine, because obviously that would mean somebody else would have to go out and buy it. It's something that is free that somebody else can get for free. So maybe a free download or something like that. It then has to be a piece of fabric that's from your stash, and by stash that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be fabric that is pre-purchased specifically for making clothes. It could be that you have a pair of old curtains or another garment that you want to change into a pattern that you know you've got enough fabric in that garment. It can be anything like that. So it doesn't have to be specifically a piece of fabric from your stash. It's just something that you already have in your house and in your means that you can sew up into a free garment. You have to sew the garment in the month of March, and then you need to reveal it on the 31st of March on Instagram using the hashtag SewFrugal22. If in the meantime you want to share some of your items that you are making or your progress of your items, you can actually share it using the hashtag SewFrugalWIP, so SewFrugal WIP on the end of it. But to be in with the actual chance of winning anything, then that needs to be entered with the hashtag SewFrugal22, and that has to be done on the 31st of March. Keep forgetting my words. And don't forget when you do that to link in and tag Sam and Ruan as well. So as part of this challenge, and to give people lots of ideas, Sam and Ruan have asked lots of different YouTubers to get together and share videos of the patterns and things that they have come across and they are potentially going to be sewing. So I'm going to be doing that today, and I'll put lists up on the screen of the people that are going to be doing these videos throughout the month. I think it started in February actually, but February through March. And obviously if you want to, you can go and have a little look at that, or you can just search for the hashtag SewFrugal22 on YouTube and you should be able to find those videos. So I'm doing mine today, and I'm doing that along with me and my superpower, or superpower. I like the play on words there. Yesterday was the lovely Michelle from Sewing Bunny and Janine Sews, and tomorrow it's going to be Sloths and Orchids and Running Sew and Sew. So if you could try and watch those videos as well, that would be really, really great, and give them a thumbs up and a hi and hello in their comments too. So on top of us being able to share what we're going to try and make, Sam and Ruan have also put together lots and lots of prizes, and so many people have been absolutely fantastic at putting together things to offer as a prize. And again, I'm going to pop those up on the screen. It's too many for me to mention, and there's no way I'll be able to remember them all. So they'll be up on the screen as I'm speaking now. On top of that, throughout the month of March, there are a couple of discount codes and a free pattern that you can get hold of. So there is a discount code to get some A0 printing done, and that's with the company called Fabricate. They are offering a 20% off discount code for each person for a one-time use only, and the code is SewFrugal22, and that's available until the 31st of March 22. There's also a free pattern available, and that's from the lovely Donna from Size Me Sewing, and it's the Florence Boxy Tee, and actually it looks like a really lovely t-shirt and quite a nice simple make, easy to fit, looks really lovely, and you can grab that for yourself with the code Frugal Tea, and that's available until the 30th of March 22. So on with the garments that I think I would like to sew, and actually they are three fairly different garments from each other, so I'm hoping that that will give you a little bit of variety. The first one is kind of in keeping with how we've all been living over the last couple of years and that is something incredibly comfortable. Something that has become really popular recently is the Oodie, which if you haven't heard of that, it is an extra oversized hoodie basically. So it's kind of like a blanket with arms, and it's just really soft and snuggly, and it's for chucking on. I don't think you would wear it out. You might do, you might want to, but you just chuck it on over your head, and it's got a big pocket in the front and big sleeves and a hood, and they're normally quite furry and sort of fluffy and feel really, really comfy. Now my daughter's got one of these and she absolutely loves it. She hasn't got the brand Oodie, she's just got a thing that's very, very similar. And I was having a look through Pinterest and I came across a free pattern, and the pattern is from Dibby.club. Now I don't know if I'm saying that right, I'll put the name of it across the screen, but it's DIBY.club, and it's called the Billie Wearable Blanket. I'll pop some pictures up on the screen. This pattern is absolutely fantastic. It's totally free, so it's free to download. It's got really, really good instructions, and there are a few different options with it. You can have a longer version or a shorter version, but I will say I think the short version is already quite long, so just bear that in mind if you do make it. It has a huge kangaroo pocket style of pocket on the front of it. You can make it lined or you can make it unlined, and it gives you instructions for both of those, and you can also make it with the hood or without a hood, so lots and lots of different options there for you to be able to do. So I wasn't sure whether or not I'd be able to use this fabric because I can't remember when I got it, but it wasn't that long ago. I want to say it was 5 or 6 weeks ago, but I really wanted to tell you about the pattern, but I might not enter this as my Sew Frugal challenge because I want to make sure I keep within the rules, and yeah, I got this fabric, like I say, about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and it's from Minerva, but I'm going to show you anyway, and I just particularly wanted to share it with you because it's such a great pattern. So this is the fabric that I've got. It's a really soft denim-y blue sweatshirt fabric, but the back of it is really soft and furry. So when I make it, and if I make it, even if I don't make it for the Sew Frugal challenge, then I will be making it at some point. I will be making the unlined version because obviously this is really soft and fluffy on the inside already and doesn't need that lining. So that is my first one. The next pattern that I would like to share with you is a pattern that actually a really good friend of mine has made a couple of times, and it's a really lovely t-shirt. It has a grown on sleeve that you can then add a sleeve to make it long, or obviously you can just have it as a grown on sleeve and have it short sleeved, and it's just a really nice simple t-shirt, loose fitting, and looks really comfortable, and I would really like to give this a go actually. And I've had this fabric in my stash for a very long time, so I know this one is legal so I think this one will be absolutely fine. So it is the Tessuti Fabrics Mandy Boat Tee, and I'm sure you've probably heard of that pattern before because it's been around for a really long time, and it's just totally free. You just go on, it says that you need to add it to your cart, but you add it to your cart and then you just don't get charged anything. There is the option to actually buy the paper pattern, and that obviously comes with a cost, but the PDF version is totally free. But then you can use your code for fabricate and get a 20% discount code on getting it printed. I would say I don't think it's probably very big to actually print out at home, so I don't think it would be a huge amount of pattern pieces to stick together either. So a win-win all round really. But the fabric that I'd like to use, I bought as a remnant from Make 140 a few years ago, and it is actually a t-shirt weight jersey, but it's almost halfway between a t-shirt weight and a cotton weight and a viscose weight, but it's not quite as drapey as a viscose. And it's again a really lovely blue colour, and it's got these fish all over it, very small, sort of in a really nice sort of swirly pattern, and I think that that would work really well just as a nice comfy throw on over a pair of jeans or a pair of trousers, t-shirt. And I think in that Mandy Boat Tee, I think that would work really well. And again, even if I don't end up doing it for the Sew Frugal 22 challenge, I still think that I will end up doing this, even if it's not by the 31st of March. So that's my second pattern to share with you. I recently did a video on the plans that I was going to do for March, and in that is something that I'm going to include in my Sew Frugal 22 challenge, so I hope that that's okay. But I'm actually going to try and clone a dress. Now the dress is one that I bought, so it is just a purchase dress, and everybody has clothes in their wardrobe, so everybody is able to do this and have a go at doing this. It's actually fairly simple. There are just a few things that you need to try and remember, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of footage in here of things that you need to remember when you are actually trying to clone a pattern. So here's my dress all laid out. I've got it inside out. It's quite a big dress, it's very full, as you can see. It's got lots and lots of panels. You only have to worry about half of the dress because obviously the other half is mirrored, so you're just going to be cutting two of everything out. Now what I've been doing is there are two different ways you can do it. I've been laying this out as flat as I possibly can, and then together with measurements and a ruler and pencil, I've been laying my tissue paper over the top and marking points and then taking that off and drawing it on. But the other way that you could do it, but unfortunately I didn't have any transfer paper, is to have your tracing paper underneath and some transfer paper, and to score using a rotary wheel along the seams of each of the seams on your garment, and then that will transfer onto your tracing paper and you can cut your garment out. But the thing that I wanted to mention in particular is to not forget to mark things on here. So for example, when I was tracing this out, I made sure I looked at where the direction of the grain of the fabric was. So then I've marked that on my pattern piece, which direction the grain is laying, so that I can then mark that up with my new fabric when I'm laying that out. There are also princess seams on this, and princess seams can be difficult to fit together. Sometimes they need a little bit of easing in. So you just mark on your actual pattern piece, you mark a line on both pieces, and then when you're tracing it, you make sure you mark that line on your pattern piece and on the other pattern piece, so that then when you are fitting them together on your new garment, you know where those essentially notches are meant to be, that they can be matched together. The other thing I wanted to mention was that it was really hard to trace the shoulder seams, especially on the back, because this comes up really straight, and then because of the sleeve, it's curved, it's not a flat piece of material. So what I did is I actually folded this to the point where I knew it was going to be going around the corner essentially, and I marked on the dress with a pencil line, a chalk line, where I traced up to. And then once I had traced that, I got a different piece of tracing paper and turned it over and traced the next bit, and then was able to stick those two pieces together. As far as the collar was concerned, that was quite easy because I could just lay that out nice and flat, and again making sure I took measurements and laying it down, I traced around it. And I did the same for the collar stand, and I did the same techniques for the sleeves as well. What I've also done is I've added 1.5 centimetres around the edge of each piece that I have traced, so that or started to trace, because I haven't actually finished it yet. So I've started to trace around all of the pattern pieces, and then before cutting them out, I've added 1.5 centimetres to each piece and each section, so that I have my seam allowance on, because obviously otherwise if I sew it up without that, it will be far too small. So I hope that's been a bit of a help. I'll go back to showing you what fabric I'm going to use. So I hope that's really helpful, and that can be obviously something that you can use, whether that's for a dress like I'm doing, or a pair of trousers, or a top, or a t-shirt, or anything like that. I think that it's really possible to do, and certainly works very well. There are loads and loads of videos on YouTube of different people doing this kind of thing and using different techniques, so do go and have a little look at copying a garment or cloning a garment or something like that in your search when you're looking on YouTube. So the dress that I want to make, obviously you've seen in that little bit of footage, but I'll put a picture of it up on the screen, and this is from the internet and where I purchased the dress itself. And I would like to make it, I said in my video the other day that I was going to try and make it out of this fabric, which is a beautiful soft viscose fabric that I bought from Sew Wardrobe in Leicester. Now, since I've recorded that video, I've realised I've only got 2 meters of this, and obviously once I've got all my pattern pieces cut out of my the tracing pieces, I will lay it out, but I've got a horrible feeling that I'm not going to have enough in this, unless of course I shorten it. So that's a little bit of a shame, but if I can, I'm going to get it out of that. But if not, I have a couple of other options. The other option is this fabric, which I know I've got about 3 meters of, so I think I'd have plenty of this. And again, this was from Sew Wardrobe, and this was a remnant, and it's a viscose again, and it's black with these slightly splodgy spots all over it. Really lovely fabric, very, very soft, and I think I would have plenty of that. Now, I think it would look lovely in this dress, but the only thing is, as you can see, I'm wearing black now, and the dress that I'm copying from is black as well. So I feel a little bit like I need to step away from that as we're coming up to spring and, then summer, which is why I really like the idea of this green fabric. However, if I don't have enough of that and I change my mind about having the black background and I want something brighter, then I have got another fabric which I think would be beautiful. Again, it's a viscose, and I bought this when I was out visiting a lovely, lovely friend of mine up in Cambridge, and I just bought it from John Lewis, and that was probably best part of 12 months ago now. And it is this beautiful floral red fabric with just a print of different flowers and leaves and things on it. Hopefully you can see that there. And I think this, as that shirt dress, would look absolutely gorgeous. So that is definitely another option. And again, I think I've got about 3 meters of this, so I'd have plenty of it. So those are my different options for my dress. So I hope that you've really enjoyed seeing the different garments that I potentially might make, the Billie Oodie, or the Tessuti Mandy Boat Tee, or the cloning of the dress that I've got. I'm really excited about all 3 of them, if I'm absolutely honest. I love the idea of having an Oodie and just coming home from work and sticking it on and putting my hood up and just feeling nice and comfy. I think the Mandy Boat Tee will be a win-win, and just something that will be a really great garment to just throw on here and there. But I'm very excited about the idea of doing the dress as well. So we will see. Why don't you comment below and let me know which one of those is your favourite, which of the fabrics is your favourite, and also let me know what you're doing. Are you going to be getting involved in the Frugal challenge as well? And if you are, what kind of garment are you thinking of sewing? Anyway, I hope that's all right. I hope you've enjoyed that. Everybody have a good week. You take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.